Yes, you got it. More Georgia Association of Realtors contract changes for the 2024 contract package. Hi, everybody. I'm Dana Sparks, broker of Maximum One Greater Atlanta Realtors and director of the Real Estate Academy of America. Please subscribe so you don't miss any of these tips. And I do have additional videos from this series linked below. Also take some of our classes for fuller explanations of all of these contract tips. I am now recording this video in December of 2023 for the changes coming out in January of 2024. So continuing on, today I am going to cover, yes, one of our favorite as an agent, the Community Association Disclosure Exhibit. This form undergoes changes every year. This is the Georgia Association of Realtors, or GAR, Form F322 Community Association Disclosure Exhibit. This is a really good change, though. There are a couple of changes, but one, you will see it just gets further and further clarified for our buyer and seller customers. So let's dive in, shall we? So, again, this is the Community Association Disclosure Exhibit. And the first thing that they have done is under the section where it talks about, let me get to the beginning of it, under the section where it talks about annual assessment. So under paragraph A3, it adds some clarifying language. So it just said assessments, and they've added the word annual, of course, a word that means yearly or what's due for the entire year. And so it does still have the fill in the blank for the amount. And it says per calendar, they've added or fiscal year. And then they've added that entire collective annual amount shall be paid in installments as follows, and the seller would complete whether it's paid monthly, quarterly, semi-annually, annually, or other. Additionally, under paragraph A6, where it talks about other association expenses, it used to just say utility expenses. They've added other association expenses as the title to this paragraph, and they've separated out for a fee for blank, which is to be used for something that isn't identified elsewhere in the form, and then separated out the actual utility expenses. So under paragraph B, B is further explanations that correspond to what the seller filled out in the fill in the blanks in paragraph A. But a very, very important change that GAR made under B3, under the annual assessments. This had not been in the Community Association Disclosure Exhibit prior to 2024. And what they have added is a section under where it says seller shall pay. And what it says now, it says C, any fee in excess of the sum disclosed in section A3 above for the remainder of the year in which the property was contracted to be sold. What does all that mean? Okay, so what has not changed in the seller's property disclosure statement is it had always been the seller's required to list all the fees associated with the HOA or the management company. And it went on to state that any fees that a seller failed to disclose or under-disclosed, the seller would have to pay those fees at the closing table. Not designed as a penalty, but because a lot of these management companies will only talk to a seller. So a buyer, there was no way a buyer or any of the agents could even get these fees to find out what they were. So it was just encouraging a seller, we really need your help. You need to find out what these fees, and in many situations, you are the only one who can find those. So if you don't disclose them, you're going to have to pay the difference. If you put zero or under disclose them at the closing table, you're going to have to pay the difference, even if it is a buyer benefit fee. So all of that had been in there with the exception of the annual HOA fee. That had been in there for initiation fees or transfer fees or admin fees, but GAR had neglected, accidentally I'm sure, to include that if a seller undisclosed what the actual annual HOA fee, that the seller was responsible for paying the difference at closing. So again, that's what that new paragraph means, or that new phrase at the end of that paragraph. Under paragraph B3C, what the seller shall pay regarding annual assessments, they've just added that into everything else, that the annual fee, if the seller underdisclosed or failed to disclose it, the seller at the closing table will be responsible for the additional fees for that calendar year in which the buyer is buying the property. And then under paragraph B4, under special assessments, under consideration, they have added at the end of that, in all caps, it states, all parties agree that neither seller nor broker shall have any obligation to disclose any possible special assessments if it is not yet under consideration, as that term is defined herein. And the beginning of that paragraph defines that term. And then moving on, under where it talks about who pays for undisclosed special assessments, it goes on to say that it has been clarified regarding the seller's responsibility, that they've clarified the language that it is the seller's financial responsibility to pay for any undisclosed special assessments. So again, this is a form that really takes a lot of consideration and a little bit of research for a seller to complete fully, and for a buyer to make sure they understand that completely. Again, GAR, as always, they try to just add additional language in there just to clarify this for our public. Thank you guys so much for watching. Dana Sparks, broker of Maximum One Greater Atlanta Realtors, satisfying your needs with service, innovation, and education. Bye. If you like that video, check out the one here. If you like the content on this entire channel, please click here to subscribe. I try to take even the most complicated of real estate situations and make them crystal clear. See what I did there? Real estate made crystal clear. Thank you guys so much for watching.